In this video, we're going to remake the entire front page of McDonald's, but we're also going to create this awesome vertical menu and to create all these burgers. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Just a disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by McDonald's and you are not allowed to use logos and images from other people's website. We're going to start right now. So the front page of McDonald's is actually really easy and simple to recreate. But the fun thing starts when we go to our menu. Ooh, this is a nice menu. We're going to recreate it. Then we go to burgers. We're also going to recreate this vertical menu. And when you click on it, you go to the right page. Now, one thing we should know is what kind of font are they using. So I press on the right mouse button. I press inspect. This is the place where I can actually see what colors they are using, the size of the fonts, the font itself. So when I hover my mouse over this, you will see an H2. The font size they're using is 36. Let's type in family. They're using the font Speedy. We're just gonna download Speedy Bold TTF. All right, now we can start building. We go to Pages, Add New, and let's call this our home page. We go create two columns like this. The first module is the image, which is going to upload all the files of McDonald's. And these are 1pub free nug version 4. Ooh. Well, if you are a big brand, you don't actually have to think about SEO, that kind of stuff. So I can imagine why I've just called this. For your website, however, make sure to put your keywords inside the name of the file and also in your alt text. Then we're going to add a text module over here. I go to paste in the text over here because I don't want to mark up from the other website. Press visual again. We're going to make this into a H2. So when you hover over it, press the brush icon, you can change the font. We're going to change this to Speedy. Speedy. Then we just press upload. This is not the fault of Divi, it is a WordPress restriction, but we can easily fix this. On your WordPress dashboard, you go to Plugins, Add New. Then we're going to add Easy SVG. Press Install Now and press Activate. This allows us to upload SVG files, but also fonts. After refreshing this page, when I press Upload, so the font is not exactly 100% the same, but we'll work with it. Then we need this text. Just create a new text module over here, paste it in, and we change this font to Roboto, which is a Google font, so it's free. The color of this thing is not even black. It is this color. So when using colors in your website, don't forget to make them global if you're using them a lot of times. This way you can easily recreate them or change them anytime you want later on in your website. Paste it in, and then we're going to use this color for the text. Press OK. And I also want this color over here. Global. This one, press OK. I'm going to just copy this module over here and change it and change the text to this. Now this text is very small, so we're going to make them small and we're going to make it light. Now also this font really doesn't look like the McDonald's font like this. It is very different, so let's see if we can change it when I put it on light. Well, I'm not satisfied, but let's keep it on this way. On our live website, we see that the image is bigger. So we're going to the size of this row, go to design, we go to sizing. We're going to change this to 1280. And now the size is almost the same, except for the spacing between them. And we're going to change the custom gutter white. We're going to change it more back, like this. All right. Let's change the max width to L1180. I think it's better. Yes, this looks way better. Alright, what they have is a yellow button, download the app. It's not doing anything, it's not moving or anything. It has no hover color, so we're going to create it. Press on this, add a button, download the app. Then we go to design, we go to button, use custom styles. They have a border radius or 4 pixels, so let's change that. And the text color is the McDonald's yellow. This is McDonald's yellow. Found it on the website, so we're going to use this text color. No. Excuse me, the text color is white. The background color is this one. We don't need any border, and the border radius is 4 pixels. It's not even white. They're using this one for the button. Okay, let's see the size. The font size is 1pc. So the font type is 1pc, like this. Works great. Then we see that the sizing of the button is a bit bigger. So we go to design, we go to spacing. We're gonna add a little bit of padding on the bottom and also on the left side and the right side, like this. You know what the funny thing is? That when you look at my design, you see that the letters are perfectly centered in the button. But when I look at the McDonald's button, the letters are not centered. They are just a little bit lower of the center. Why is that? Do they all have that? Yes, they all have this. This is really strange. We just keep it this way. When looking at the original, we still find that there's a bit off. This image is bigger and this one is smaller. So we go back to our row. I'm going to choose a different layout like this. Now I think, yes, this is exactly the same. There's more spacing between the buttons. So we go to the button, design, spacing, top. We're going to give it 50 pixels extra. Excellent. Do no more. Now the next job is to copy this entire thing. This is gonna be really easy. We're just gonna copy all this text, duplicate this entire row like this. Then we select this one and we're going to paste in the text we have just copied. We're gonna remove this one. Oh, that's what I mean. You don't want all this rubbish. Press OK. Next one, copy it. And the last one is the disclaimer, of course, like this. All right, and we're gonna replace this image with this one, Spotlight Dorado, like this. And the button is learn more about Spotlight Dorado, like this. Then we see that there's a little bit more space between the two rows. So we go to our row, we go to design, we go to spacing. We're gonna give it a spacing of 75 pixels. Then we have another row. Let's do it exactly the same. Go over here, copy this entire thing. Remove all this rubbish. All right, then we go to this one. And then we go to replace this image with the right image. Excellent. And the button's name is Order McDelivery Now. It's really easy, isn't it? It is way simpler than you thought. Then we go to the last one, deals for days. Are you getting hungry already? Copy the entire row. Replace the text like this. We change the button text to get app deals. And we're going to change the image to the image of the app. So we have created the entire front page really quick. Then we have a footer over here. And this footer is exactly the same. If I go to my burgers, this footer is everywhere the same. What they do have? They have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. We go to our dashboard, Divi theme builder. We're going to add a global footer. Build global footer. And we're going to create a row with 4 columns. Then we add a text module. And the first module is about us. Paste it in. Select it. Change the font to the Speedy. The font size is 1pc. And the color is the global color. Then let's copy this text module. And we're just going to copy the entire things with all the links inside of it. Then select them all and remove this list. Then you go to text and you need to select this one, the link font. So my Speedy font doesn't have the other fonts with it, so that's my bad. So let's use Roboto instead. Text color is great and let's make it light. Okay, like this. To copy this entire column into these 4, we just go to this one, we delete these columns, and we're gonna add 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, like this. And then we're quickly gonna change them all around. Job well done, it's exactly the same. What do we have over here? We have social icons and 2 buttons. No problem. Go to your theme builder, add a new row. And in this row, we need, I think, this one gonna work perfect. We're gonna use the social media follow icons. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, and a RSS feed. Like this. Alright. We're going to change the icon color. Go to design, and the icon color will be the global black one, like this. And then the background color is actually a white color. But when I go to background and I'm going to make it white, this will not work. What do we need to do is we need to go to one of them, go to this one, change the background to white. You also go to design, we go to border, we're going to make this 15, so that is rounded. But you can actually see it when I add this one. The border white. Is 15 good? No, let's make it 20. And the border color is going to be a grayish thing, like this. Then we have created one. You just press on this one and you press extend item styles. Do this only on this column, press extend. Here we go. Almost exactly the same, but it looks like that these, I think they're using images instead of SVG icons. And yes, I'm right. It's just a PNG icon. So you can also just copy paste them all and use those images. It's way too much work. We have two buttons over here. So we're going to save this image. Save this image, and we're gonna add them in. Image over there, the App Store badge, of course. And then we're just gonna copy it, drag it over there, change it to the Google App Store, like this. Does it almost look the same? Almost. They are a little bit closer to each other. We just go to the image, we go to design, we go to alignment, and we're gonna align this one on the right side. If you want them even closer to each other, then go to your row settings, design, sizing, and use a different gutter white, like this. And this is more like it. Excellent. Now what do they have even more? They have a divider over here with this line. No problem. We're just gonna add a new row. And in this row is a divider, like this. The color of the divider is 1 pixel in this color. Go to design, go to the line, and change the line in the color of what it is. Well, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. So let's create a new row with 6 columns. And the first one will be text right there. Privacy updated. Change the font to Roboto and we're gonna change it to regular. We're just going to copy paste this column to all the other ones. Like this. Yes, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, because we have 6 columns today. The next one is California privacy notes. Let me just real quick change all these. And then we have this is copyrighted. And what I always do is you don't want to change your website every single year. So what do we do with copyright? We just press this button and we press the current date. And the current date before will be this space and after it will be this. Before and after, and then the date format will be custom and the custom will be a year. Like this, you can see it, copyright 2017-2022, McDonald's, all rights reserved. Now every year your date will change automatically. And then we also have this nice little logo. So we're gonna save it and we're gonna add an image over here, which are the Golden Arches logo, like this. Of course, it's a bit smaller. And it's also aligned to the right side. And the width will be 30 pixels like this. Alright, then what do we see? That the spacing between the words are too much. So they cannot fit nicely. So what are we going to do? We go to design, we go to sizing. We're going to use a custom gutter white. And we're going to change them to 1. You just go to design, you go to spacing. And then on the spacing, we're going to add some right margin like this. Like 25 pixels, and we're gonna give it a negative margin on the top to just put it a little bit up, like -5 pixels. You can just move it around the way you want. -3 is, I think, is excellent. Just save it, and then it is perfectly lined out. However, because of Divi, how Divi works with the columns, we cannot make this one bigger? Well, you actually can, but it will need a lot of CSS. So we're not going to do it right now because we're copying this website as closely as possible. And then the last two links are these. For that, we're just going to use the exact same row like this, but then we're going to change this one. Do not sell my personal information. And the last one is the cookie settings. All right, then you go into this row and we're going to delete this one and this one until I have these two aligned. I'm just going to delete this one and leave it like this. Then we, of course, go to design, we go to spacing, we're going to have the top padding to 0, and we're going to save this. And also on this row, we're going to change to design, spacing, and the bottom margin of 0. And now they're closer to each other, and it's actually almost the same as the real footer. And on the front end, this is what we see. We have our beautiful footer over here. It actually works great and all these things. However, where is my front page? On your dashboard, you go to settings, you go to reading, and on here you press a static page and you choose your home page. Save changes. And there is our beautiful McDonald's website. Isn't it awesome? It also almost looks exactly the same as the real deal. But of course, one thing is not the same, that is the header. We're going to add a global header over here, build a global header. What do we need actually on this? They have a one menu, which is a big menu, all these simple links, a logo, and this over here. Well, let's start creating. So for this, we're going to use this layout over here. We're going to add an image in here, which is the logo. We're already added in, so like this. So before we can actually add the menu module, we will need to have some links in it. So we go to appearance, we go to menus, and here we're going to create a new main menu. We're going to fill the menu with custom links like this. The first one is our menu, and it's just going to be a dummy link. The second one is download app. And now we can add a menu module. And now we have our main menu like this. They're using the same font again, but the size is different. This time the size is actually 18 pixels. We go to design, we go to menu text, we're gonna make it black. The font menu will be Roboto and the size will be 18 pixels. And then we see that we have a little bit of problem because the width of the row is not exactly the same. And then we go to the settings of this row, we go to design, we go to sizing, and we're going to change this back to 1180 like the entire website. And then we see that the menu is way more on the left side than our website. Well, that's no problem. We're just going to change that. We go to the settings of this module, we go to design, spacing. We are going to give it a negative margin of -140 like this. And then we see that this image is actually move more up. That's easy to do. Just go to design, just go to spacing, and we're going to give it a negative top margin like -45. So what do we see? Actually, this line is exactly on this line of the letters. Well done, McDonald's. So what do? We're going to give it a negative margin of -55. We're going to add another menu because on this side we have two menus. To recreate this and we want to make it look good, we can actually use this layout over here. And the first thing will be a menu like this. Then the second one will be a search module like this. And then the third module will be a location. So we're going to use a text module for that one. Because actually this is a link to another page, as you can see that. Well, we already created that yellow button inside of our front page. So we're just going to move to the yellow button. We're going to save it to the library as a yellow button. And now can we just add a new button? We're going to press add from library, and there is our yellow button. Over here, we press use this module, and here we are. Let's change this to order now. First thing we're going to create is this menu. We go back to appearance, we go to menus, and we're going to create another menu, which is the name of the second menu. And we're going to create the menu. Add a custom link, which is language, add to menu. And the first one is English. And the second one is Espanol, add to menu, and then we're just gonna drag them over there. Now we have a submenu, sign up for email, and I actually capitalize this letters and also this one, add to menu. And the last one is careers. Careers, add to menu. All right. Then we reload this page, and we're gonna change this one to the second menu. Then what do we see? That this entire row is of course dragged on the top over there. On second top, we're not going to use a text module, we're going to use a blurb module like this. It's way better. And then the title will be change your location. We need no content, but what we do need is a icon. Use icon, and the icon will be a place like this. And then we're going to design image and icon. The icon color will be red. And then the placement will be on the left side, and the width will be not very big. Then the size of the title is also way smaller. Not as small as this, but maybe this. All right, we're gonna save this. Then the search icon is not like this. We don't have a button, so the placeholder will be search. And we're gonna remove the button. They don't use borders around it, so we go to design, we go to borders, and we go to set this one to 0. Then the text is black with a little icon. We're going to change the color to our global black like. We have the sizing of this thing is not really the right size, so we go to design, sizing. We're going to change this to 1180, like we've changed them all. We're going to save that. Then I can see that there is a margin on top of this. We go to design, we go to spacing, we're going to remove the top margin like this. Then we're also going to remove the sizing. We're also going to remove the bottom and the top padding over there, so now it's closer. But when we look at the official site, that the language starts with our menu, like there. Now how are we going to change this? First thing is we need to change the getter white to make them more closer to each other. Then we have almost exactly the same. Then change your location is actually a link, and they made it on purpose blue and underlined so people actually know that this is a link. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to change this to Roboto, and we're going to change the text color to this bluish, and we're going to underline the text like this. Save it. All right. Actually I want this entire thing to be a bit smaller. So we're going to change the width, and we're going to change it to 840 pixels. Now we go to design, we go to spacing, and we're going to change the padding top to 0. And this is way better. Look at this. I think 0 was a bit too much, so we're going to change the spacing and give it a padding of 10 pixels. What you can see over here is that the Order Now button is way more on the right side than the main menu. We go to spacing, we go to the left margin, and we're just going to add some crazy margin over here. 545. But now our sizing is way too big, so we're going to. Now what do I want to do is this first column is way too big than the other one. So how are we going to change that? We go to the first column settings, advanced, custom CSS, main element, width is 400 pixels, like this. Oh, we're gonna make it important, like this. And then we can see that the size of the first column is changing. That's excellent, that's what we want. Then we're going to save this column. Then on the last column, we go to advanced, custom CSS, and the main element will be margin. Top will be minus 20 pixels over there. Why am I doing this here? Well, when I go to design and I go to spacing, I cannot add negative margin in this one, but I can add positive margin like this, 35 pixels to the right. That's excellent. All right. I like this way better than what it was. However, the search column is way more on the right side. Actually, I made a bit of a mistake because when I look at their website, their search button is just a link to another page. This is just an empty page with searchmcdonalds.com. I did it wrong. I assumed that you can add some text in this box. That makes it more easier for us. We're just going to add another blurb, and the blurb will be search. And then the icon, of course, will be a search icon, like this. Is it this one? No, it is on the other side, like this. And the color of the icon will be our global black one. And then we change the color of this thing will be, of course... Oh, we don't have underlinement, sorry. We don't have underlinement. The text color will be this one. And the icon will also be the global color. Now, if you want to move these things closer to each other, we have to go to Advanced, Custom CSS. Then you go to Blurb Title and you type in margin left is minus 20 pixels, for example. But 20 is a bit too much, so let's change it to 10. What's also not right is the size of the icon itself. So, of course, you have to change this first, like this, and then the size of the search icon. Oh, that's great. Then we go to Advanced Custom CSS and we're going to change the margin left to minus 20. That is way better. And now it is almost exactly the same. Then we're going to align it on the right side. We cannot align this thing on the right side, but we can of course use spacing to give it a left margin and make it more to the right side. Let's give it 75 pixels left margin so that it looks exactly the same. Almost exactly the same. And then we also see that to change your location blurb is more to the right side. So again, custom CSS blurb title margin left will be minus 20 pixels like this. And then we also see that the icon is smaller. So we go to the icon and we're going to make it smaller. And it's also more on top. So we go to custom CSS. We go to the blurb title and we're going to give it a margin top of 20 pixels. That's way too much, man. Margin top 5 pixels like this. And then we're going to move the entire thing a little bit up like this, minus 5 pixels. And the last thing we see is that if you draw a line now, everything is on the same height except for the menu. Well, I cannot change the menu anymore. So we go to wireframe modus, we go to menu, we go back to this one, we go to design, we go to spacing. We're going to give it a negative top margin of 5 pixels like the other one. Spacing is a bit off, so the last thing we're going to do is actually remove some spacing from the section. We go to spacing and we're going to add a padding of 35 pixels. But then you can see that the spacing is smaller, like this, it's smaller. And we also have, of course, a different font, but we also have a shadow below it. The shadow is pretty easy. Just go to the section settings, you go to design, you go to box shadow, and we're just going to add this one. Then we can see that the spacing is off, like I said. So we go to spacing, and we're going to add a bottom margin of 0. It's still a bit higher, and the shadow is way less intense. No problem. We just go back to the shadow, design, box shadow over here. We're going to change the spread to a little bit smaller over there. That's great. Well, we're already at 0 padding, so we go to our row settings. Then we go to design, we go to spacing, and then we're going to change the bottom spacing to, well, I think it's 5 pixels. Well, this looks actually pretty nice. For an almost exact copy of this website, yes, it's pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is create this beautiful menu, because I really like the way to build it and I want to show you guys how you can do it. It's actually really easy to do so. The first thing we do is we're going to copy all these images to our computer. Then we go to menus and we're going to change our main menu. On our main menu, we're going to add some custom links. The first one is beverages. When we have the first column, we're just going to drag them to our menu like this: beverages, breakfast, burgers, and chicken and sandwiches. But if we want to create 3 rows inside of the menu, we need to create something else. And that is let's just call it what it is, column 1. And we're going to add it over here. And then we're going to change this to over here. Then the next one is, of course, column 2. Add it to our menu. Let's fill it up. Right, then the last one is a column. We're just going to call it column 3. Like this, add it to our menu over there. And then we're just gonna add a URL which is McCafe or bakery and the snacks and sides over there. When I now look at the front end, this is how it gets. Our menu, column 1, column 3, column 3. So now we go to screen options. We're going to add the CSS classes over there. Now when you drop down our menu, you type in the CSS class mega-menu and just save menu over there. Now when I reload my page, hey, this looks way more like it. What you now see is that we actually have a mega menu. This is a built-in feature of Divi and it's not very well known, so now you know. Now the next thing we're going to do is hide the column things and we're going to add images to our menu items. It is very easy to do so. How are we going to add images to our menu? Well, there are a lot of plugins to create special menus, but you can also do it yourself, which saves you a lot of money. Just go to beverages and just type in some HTML image source is, and then you type in, here we are. We first need the drinks, so we copy the URL and we go to add image source is like this. Oh, like this. And then and then what we're going to do, we need to test how big it is. So we're going to save this menu. We go to our website, refresh it. All right, then we have some images over here. This is great. So we're going to do this for all of these menu items. So I'm going to copy this and paste it in all of the menu items with the right image. And then when everything's filled in, this is the way it looks right now. This is amazing. First, we're gonna remove these ridiculous column 1, 2, and 3. How are we going to do that? Well, just go to this one, inspect it. And you can see that the current page is actually the first column 1. And it has a certain idea. The class is actually hide menu like this, but you will need first to copy this one. Et menu nav li mega menu first child, copy it. Then you go to Divi theme options, you paste it in and the first child, and you can just type in like this, display none. Oops. And then it will actually be hidden. What this actually does, it tells that everything in the mega menu, the first child, will be hidden. Let's see if it works. We just refresh this page. And now you can see that the first one in the mega menu is hidden. So now our columns are gone. Then we can see that this beverages and breakfast, they're all too low. So what are we going to do? We press inspect again. And then we just copy in this code, which I created by selecting this, adding a display flex and align the content and the items in the center. When I save the changes right now and I refresh my website, this is what you see. All the text is being centered at the images. But again, if you want full flexibility over this mega menu, you actually need a good plugin to do this. But we are getting really close to the original one. Now, the next thing is remove this blue line. We go back to the theme builder and we go back to this one, and then maybe we can actually also change the design of the menu text because it's way too big. Maybe we can make it light. I think this is way better. And if you don't want the line color, just go to drop down menu and choose the line color to be transparent like this. And now I also made the font different. So I think we've created a very nice header that is almost the same as the original website. Let's take it one step further and go to the menu of the McDonald's, and because I want to create the burgers page. And it is possible because it is actually pretty easy to do so. But this is a vertical menu. So we're going to create this thing right now. And we're going to create a new page. The new page is called burgers. But what we actually need this time is not a normal row. No, we're gonna need a specialty section. And in the specialty section, we are going to want this one. Yes, this one. And this row we want, the first one is 1. And below that we have 3 rows like this. And this actually will be a title. So we're gonna add the text module. And the text is just burgers. And let's style this. This is actually 54 and it is the speedo and it's big and it's our global dark one. And we're gonna align it in the center. And then they have on the left side, they have these things. So first there's our featured product, which is just a link to another page. And then they have all these kind of things. Well, let's first create this one. We're gonna save this image. We're gonna use a blurb module over here. And the text will be create favorites, no content. And the image we're using. And we go to design, we go to image and icon, and we place it on the left side like this. But it's way bigger than this. So we're going to make it 100 pixels. And then the text is in the center. And then the text is actually pretty bold. So we're gonna make it, yeah, well, it's bold because when it's active. So we're just gonna use pop-ins for this one again to make it just regular. Then we're gonna align it with the image. So we go to advanced, custom CSS, blurb title. And then we're gonna type in margin top is 35 pixels like this. Excellent. Then we go back to design. We go to border because they have a rounded border around it. Let's just create a little border. So for the border radius, they actually use .25 rems, which actually works great with us. And the border color is this one. Excellent. Because there's more spacing on the right side. Go to design. You go to spacing. All right, we're gonna use some 15 pixels on the left padding. Then we're gonna add the burgers, my personal favorites. How are we going to do that? Well, pretty easy, of course. We're gonna add a blurb in there because it's the most easiest way to do. The first one is the Big Mac, and we're gonna remove this. We're gonna add an image, and the Big Mac will be centered. So we're gonna change this to 20 pixels. We're gonna use the pop-ins font. And then it's actually just a matter of copying these blurbs like this and just changing them up. So then we have a quarter pounder with cheese deluxe. Just change the image like this. And then we have the last one is a McDouble. Excellent. This looks almost exactly the same, except there is a little bit more spacing between the burgers. It's no problem. Just go to the row settings, go to design, go to sizing, and add some custom gutter white like this. Excellent. Now it looks almost exactly the same. Amazing. Let's add another row just for fun. Oh, I'm getting really hungry by looking at these delicious burgers. Now this looks really great. Let's create the menu on the left side even further. They have this entire row of links with all these things. No problem. We're just going to duplicate this thing to make our starting point. But then we're going to change this one to beverages. Beverages. These boxes are way bigger. So we're going to change this. We go to design, we go to sizing. We're going to change the width to 110%. And even 120% like this. We're also going to change it with this sizing with 120%. This is way better. All right. The first one is beverages. Now, the second one, as you can see, is just they're all in one line. How are we going to do that? We have to do a trick. So let's create first the second one, which is breakfast. Let's make it breakfast. And then we go to the image, change it to like this. All right, excellent. Then wait up. This is not nice. Oh, it's also on the official website. The word breakfast is just way higher than the image itself. That's not very nice. We're gonna fix this, of course. We go to Advanced, Custom CSS, and then we're gonna make the blurb title to be even lower, like this, 55 pixels. It is because the image is just way too big for the design. So we're not gonna change this. No, what we are gonna change, This is a little bit better, but it's not excellent. We need to place all these blurbs on top of each other. So first we go to design, we go to border, we're going to remove the lowest border. We're gonna press it to 0 like this. And then we don't need this. We're gonna unlink the rounded corners. We're gonna remove these ones. Now, you see what I'm getting at? And then we go to spacing. And then we're gonna give a margin of 0 to this thing. Here you go. Save it. Then the next one. Edit it. Go to design. We go to border. We're gonna unlink it. We're gonna remove the rounded corners in top. As you can see what we're going to. And the top border will be 0. Like this. Now, this is pretty great. And then we're also going to remove the bottom border. Make it 0. And also remove this one. And then we go to spacing. We're gonna give it a bottom margin of 0. Now when I duplicate this module, we can actually create all of them in one go. Isn't that easy? Now we have our burgers like this. And the icon is, of course, like this. But the last one, we of course have our little border back on. So we're going to border, we go to this one, and we're gonna enable it again. And on the rounded corners, we have again 0.25 rems on the sides. And here we go. Now we have created this beautiful menu just like that. Now to make it fully the same, what they did in the original is create a left border, which is red, to know where you are in the navigation. Now this is what we're going to do. On every page, we're going to add it in manually. So we go to design, we go to border, and the left one will be even bigger and it will be red, like this. And this way we will have our menu. So if I now save this page, and I'm going to add a link into this burger thing, and I make this to a link, and the link of this blurb will be, the whole module will be burgers, like this. And then this one will be a link to beverages. We're going to create this page also. So what we do from here is actually we create a new page, we call beverages. We're going to use the Divi builder, but now we're going to clone an existing page. Click over here, your existing pages, and we're going to choose the burger page. Use this layout. I don't know why it's so cramped up, but okay. Now we have duplicated the page, so we're going to change this to beverages. Then we're going to copy this style. Then we don't need this one, so we go to design, we go to border, the grayish color again, and we're going to change it back to 1 pixel. And then we're going to change this one, we go to design, we go to border, we're going to change the left side to 5 pixels, we're going to make it red. We're going to make it a Minute Maid strawberry watermelon slushy. Upload the image, here we are, upload it like this. Then I'm just going to change all the other ones. This is a Coca-Cola. Did you know I also recreated the Coca-Cola website? It was even easier than this one. When I now go to my website and I refresh it and I go to beverages, I'm actually at the real beverage website. And I can even go to burgers and I can go to beverages. Isn't this awesome? I forgot to remove the animation of the blurb modules and this looks just hideous. So how are we going to change that? That is also pretty easy. You just go into one blurb on this page, like this one. We go to design, we go to animation, and we go to image icon animation, put it to no animation over there. Then we're going to click over there and we're going to extend image icon animation, click over it, and we make no animation to all blurbs throughout this page. Extend. Just wait a second. Let me also change it with the burgers because it's hideous. Enable visual builder. Go to design, we go to animation, and we go to no animation, and we go to extend this icon animation to all blurbs on this page. Press extend. Here we go, save it. And now when I click through my website on the front end, no animations whatsoever. And I can go to burgers and I can go to beverages. And that's the way you bake those hamburgers. Guys, if you like this video, hit that like button so I know I was on the right track. And if you have questions or you want me to do another website, just drop them down in the comments and I'll always reply. I wish you an awesome day and I'll see you in the next video.